I'm Irene Trudell, and joining me in the studio is Lisa Germano, who has this beautiful new album, In the Maybe World, out on the Young God label.
Mm-hmm.
How are you, Lisa?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent.
Cold.
Yes, it's a little
Cold
chilly
on
in the
this hot
studio,
day.
which is okay.
Yes.
We've been way too overheated. But how did you end up putting an album out on Michael Gira's label?
Well, we've known each other off and on for years. I had a band many years ago that had a drummer in it named Thor, the famous Thor.
Ooh.
And he was a Swans freak. He played Swans constantly. And,
yeah.
And so I was introduced to that music. And then years later, Thor called me out of the blue and said, "You wouldn't believe who I'm playing with." And he said, Michael Gira has a new band called the Angels of Light, and I've met them, and I'm playing drums with them. And, he was just beside himself. And so then I started getting the records, and I actually talked to Michael a couple of times about playing with him, but we never worked that out. And then when I was doing Lullaby for Liquid Pig, Michael was also talking with me, and I was going to maybe put it out on Young God then.
Uh-huh.
And I really liked our communication, and I loved the things that he had to say. And at the time, I decided to stay with somebody in L.A., which I did. But he said, well, just stay in contact, and if you ever have a piece of work and you feel like playing it for me.
Sure.
So when I was working on this record, I wasn't really working on it as a record. I was just writing songs, and all of a sudden I thought, I wonder if I've actually got a record here. I couldn't really tell. And so I didn't play it for anyone that I know. In L.A., I just sent it to Michael. And I said, I just loved your comments. I know you're very honest. And do you think I've got a piece of work here? Or just anything that you say will help me. And he was just really honest, the things that he wrote back and the things he said. And
well,
so
that's what strikes me about him in general, and maybe the connection you two have is that your music is very honest and direct and and naked. Just the raw feeling and emotion is right in front of you.
Maybe so, because I was
know.
trying to figure out why he liked my music. Because I would think my music's like too pretty or too whatever, but
there's a certain darkness about it.
I get it now. I get it, but that's my insecurity, the pretty stuff. But not that you can't be.
You can be pretty and dark at the same time.
You can be pretty dark.
Well, you're going to play a few songs for us in the studio here, and the first one you're going to do for us is called Golden Cities, and it's actually about your cat.
Well, yeah, it's about the time when my cat was struggling with cancer, and he was in the hospital, and I would visit him. And these melodies would come in my head, and I was singing little lullabies with the melodies of Golden Cities. And I think he was trying to tell me he was going to a good place, like a really cool place. Like, too bad you can't go with me.
Just a comforting thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was trying to comfort me, and so I wrote this song as a kind of comforting way to look at him being gone. Because he still comes to visit me, so I don't know if he really is gone,
True.
So.
Well, here's Lisa Germano. Lisa Germano playing live here on WFMU. And I'm Irene Trudell. Golden Cities, written for your cat. Are your cats really big in your life? Are they really I know they are in mine.
They are. They're magical.
Too, yes.
Cats are aliens. Cats just are so weird, and they're so in touch with feelings and emotions, and they're also really, really they have high self-esteem, which I don't. Cats, I learned from my cats, it's like, accept me as I am or I'm leaving. The cat's like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I am so-and-so. I'm Lou, like my cat Lou is very, very, he's a Hollywood cat.
Uh-huh.
And it's a real snob, but I love him. He's just so cute.
Well, once they decide that you are their person, you're it for life,
I know. I really wish people were a little more like that, just accept, not that you should accept somebody if they're treating you badly, but accept their eccentricities and their things that aren't the same as you,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'll do the title track in the Maybe Worlds.
The title track also sort of figures into the cat world as well.
Sometimes I forget that. Yeah, because that song, Mi Amo Tutti and Lou, were bringing me these dead birds from the roof.
Little presents. They're keeping watch. They're showing you that they're doing their job.
Yeah, and they would be proud of themselves. They'd put it on the bed and then come over, and if I'd be playing piano and
see what I brought you.
Yeah,
isn't this wonderful?
Yeah, and sometimes I would save them because they would just be in shock, and I'd put a towel over them and take them back up to the roof. But then I just started having to think about death in a different way. No, not about death, because death is sad, but the fact they were bringing them, what was I supposed to be seeing? What was I supposed to be learning from the fact that they were bringing me these birds? And I started thinking just how a lot of us don't live our lives fully. So I wrote the song. So the song is more about that, and that the message the cats gave me was to wake up and try to live my life more fully. So.
Well, here's another live one from Lisa Germano.
Okay.
Lisa Germano playing live here on WFMU, and I'm Irene Trudell. I wanted to mention the artwork that you have on the album. There's some really gorgeous pictures, including these birds in snow, which sort of, I guess, could be a reference to that title track.
Yeah,
it's sort of a wintry image.
You know, I think it is in reference to the title track, because I don't know what that picture means. And that's what in the maybe world is you don't quite know where something's going to take you. You don't quite know the possibilities. Like, this bunny might be already passed away. Mm-hmm. The birds might be waking him up. Because there's no blood. It's not like a gory picture. It's just a picture of, like, I don't really know what's going on here, but it's a little strange. I love that picture.
Quite beautiful. And there's some other beautiful artwork. If you go to the website younggodrecords.com and look up Lisa Germano, you'll see all these beautiful images. Who's the artist on these?
Her name's Francesca Studson, and she is a friend of Michael's, and he sent me some pictures, and I liked all of them, but I didn't see a cover for myself. And then he went, well, there's one I didn't send you. It was really funny that he didn't send that. And then I said, why? And he was like, well, I'll just send it. And then he sent it, and I wrote him. I got a little kind of a stomachy, turny thing. I was like, I know that's a bit, it could be kind of sad, but that is the cover of the record, absolutely. And he said, I was hoping that you'd say that.
Well, it is a beautiful image there, yes. Lisa Germano is my guest here on WFMU, and her brand new album, In the Maybe World, is on the Young God Records label. And let's see, maybe, how about Except for the Ghosts?
Okay.
You wrote that for Jeff Buckley.
Mm-hmm. I wrote that, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The lyrics, I changed the arrangement on this record, but
you knew him a little bit.
I knew him, yeah. He was like on tour at the same time as I was.
Right.
So, like, doing radio shows, say like this, he would be in there and he'd wave at me because he'd be on after me or before me or whatever. And
I knew him a little bit too. I mean, he used to be on FMU all the time. You know, he must have been like 10 or 11 times on the station. But I knew him in sort of the way that I think a lot of people knew him, that he was very hard to get to know. I don't know, but
yeah, maybe. I mean, I can't say that I knew him intimately or like his dreams or anything, but I knew just a touch of it. Mm-hmm. Of a beautiful presence, you know. So he didn't show any other sides except a very genuine, gracious side. And when I opened up for him in France, we did a show together. That day we actually finally met, you know, and talked a lot and talked about the business and how hard it is. And then his show was just amazing, and his audience was so full of good. It was all good, you know. And then at the end, all these people wanted to talk to him, and he insisted on taking my bags to the car, you know, and it wasn't a girly guy thing.
No, he was
just
a gentleman.
Really gracious.
Yeah.
And so I wrote this song when I found out that he had passed away. I was just thinking about him. I wanted to connect with him somehow, and either say goodbye or hello or
sure. I mean, are the ghosts things that are he might have imagined, or are these? What are you referring to?
Except for the ghosts? Yeah. Except for our fears of that maybe something that it's so horrible. We don't know what it felt like. We don't know. It's like, I think a lot of times when people are ill or when they pass away, one of the main fears, even for myself, is the pain that I will feel right before, or the loneliness that I'll feel right before, or whatever. And it's such an individual thing that we don't know what it is.
And we won't until it happens.
Absolutely. So I'm trying to be less fearful of it, But, so on that's what that's about.
All right.